Good afternoon, and welcome to the December 3rd meeting of the Historic Business District Commission. After, I guess our clerk is absent today, so Doug will take his place and read the directive from the governor and the procedural steps, and then we'll open the meeting with a roll call.
Pursuant to Governor Haley's March 28, 2025, signing of Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Section 30-A, Paragraph 20, until June 30th, 2027. This meeting of the Chatham Historic Business District Commission is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort is being made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 508-945-4410, conference ID 653-323-481#, or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, Xfinity Channel 1072, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. In accordance with town policy, the public may speak to any issue, hearing, or business item on the agenda during the meeting when recognized by the chair. I shall now read the procedural steps. A roll call of all commission members will be taken to authorize this form of meeting. The clerk will read the agenda item. The applicant will present, or the representative will present the application. Any member of the public with a question or comments may ask them to be recognized by the chair. If a member of the public is participating in the meeting via phone only, please provide your name and the last 4 digits of your phone number for the identification purposes. The chair will ask each member if they have any questions or comments on the application. The chair will ask for a motion and a second on the application. The chair will ask the members if there are any suggested conditions of approval. Each commission member will vote, and all votes will be taken by roll call. In order for application to pass, you must receive 3 votes in favor. At the end of the meeting, there will be a motion, a second to adjourn, and a roll call for each commission member at the time of adjournment noted.
Thank you, Doug. Now we'll do a roll call. Bob Burns?
Bob Burns, present.
Tim Gilmore, present.
Doug Grattan, present.
And Darcy Sequin is present, and I will be acting chair while Dan is away. So does anybody have any discussion about the minutes?
Doug Grattan would like to make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Bob Burns, second, and Bob Burns approves.
Okay.
Tim Gilmore approves.
Doug Grattan approves.
Darcy Sequin approves. Thank you. Tim, do you want to read the first application, please?
Certainly. Under continued hearings signs, 25-085, Mahjong care of Jill Boudreau, application to install a wall sign on the structure located at 726 Main Street, continued from November 5th, 2025 and November 19th, 2025.
Good afternoon.
Hi, I would say we have to stop meeting like this, but
Yes.
this subject matter is near and dear to my heart. So I appreciate the opportunity to be before you for a 3rd time today. And as you saw from last week, I submitted revisions that on a 5-fold basis, I believe took into consideration a lot of your insight and considered suggestions with regard to the sign revisions, notably changing.
Good afternoon.
Just ran a marathon.
Good afternoon, Bill. Do you want to just state your name for the record, please?
Yeah, Bill Riley on behalf of Jill Boudreau.
Thank you.
So just to enumerate the 5 changes, the feeling was that the Benjamin Moore navy background was too intense. I think it was also mistaken for black. So we have another submission for a dark blue color. The peony, the Ben Moore peony raspberry color was felt to be too bright, so now we have from Chatham Sign Shop a rubine red. It was felt that the rectangular and square signs were a little too contemporary, so they have notched and scalloped the corners. And then the suggestion was made to add a metallic gold border. And then we've also, per insight and suggestion, slightly narrowed the font. So those are the revisions that you see before you. I would ask you to consider, I had one of your committee members come into the shop on Sunday, and she was quite pleased with the revisions she saw. I had my laptop with me, so I showed that to her, and she also suggested, instead of a gold border, perhaps consider a silver border inside the scallop notched edges, given the silver color of the shingles on the outside. So I do have that, if I could pass that forward, if that's something you all would like to see. And I neglected to get my show and tell. I thought it was interesting, the fact that
Could you just continue talking over there, Jill, please? Oh.
in the interest of the fact that it's hard to get an accurate representation from a tiny color swatch, if I can share this with you. This is the actual blue color from Chatham's Wine Shop.
I'm sorry, you have to talk over there because they can't hear you. Okay, thank you.
So what I just showed you is the actual finished product of the navy dark blue background that's under review this afternoon.
Okay. I just have a question for you. You said someone stopped in your shop from our committee?
Ellen Briggs, is she on your committee?
No, she's not.
And is she on another committee?
No,
Okay.
no, she's not.
Protect our past, but that's
Oh,
okay.
Okay. Bob, do you want to start?
Yeah, so I drove by there a few times the last few days. I think that adding the gold doesn't make a lot of sense. I think it just complicates that whole, I'd like to see it, continue to see it a little bit.
Could you speak up a little, Bob, please?
Adding the gold border, and I know that was a suggestion about adding a ball, I just think it just makes it way too busy. The colors, to me, are still too bright. And if they can be toned down, but I like this blue, so maybe we get away from, go more white in the background. I just think it's still too bright.
What's that?
Yeah.
Tim?
I appreciate the presentation of the navy blue with the silver. I'd have to say, I really think for the district in the area in question, I think the silver is a much better option than the gold. That's on the positive side. Some negatives I still have are the thickness of the fonts, the surface area of the sign relative to the fonts. I think the font dominates. When I see that sign, Main Street Mahjong, I equate it internally with almost a traffic control device, such as do not cross, stop, yield. To me, it's just very in your face and dominating for the area. Now, I know you've presented many other, signs in the area, and I would suggest that all the signs you presented, make your sign as presented the outlier. I think the other signs are much more balanced as far as their lettering, as far as their borders, and again, I think the border you presented is great, as well as the background. But again, I'm having a problem for the area and the surrounding signs with just the thickness and the non-italic, or just the font. I think is not correct for the district.
Well, Tim, we did reduce the size of the font.
No, I see that, Bill. I appreciate that. I still think it's still, to me, it dominates. And, it's my opinion, but for the signs that are presented as examples, I would suggest your sign is the outlier, and the others are more
Well, if I
equate
could-
with the area.
And if I could comment, thinking about, this section of Main Street on its own, have you noticed a sign for sweet tomatoes?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big red tomato. I mean, this is extremely modest in comparison to that. And you have the signs for, Ford, bright blue, the laundromat, bright blue. I mean, if there's a sign that looks like a traffic sign, it's the laundromat sign. I think this sign is very, very modest compared to those signs. I'm really having difficulty understanding why, you think this sign is such an outlier, when I think to me, the colors that, that Jill has presented, are really more muted than that red sweet tomato sign. And the blues that are used in the laundromat sign and the Ford signs are bright blues, bright light blues. And so I'm really having difficulty understanding, how this is an outlier and those aren't, and why these aren't very similar to those, and therefore not out of keeping with what I've heard referred to as the palette for this neighborhood. I mean, that's so in other words, how is somebody like Jill, who comes in, sees these other signs, and prepares a sign which she thinks is more muted than those signs? Where is she supposed to go? I mean, we come in here, talk to you, they say reduce the font, we reduce the font. You wanted a border, which we were happy to add, good suggestion. Notch the corners, all good suggestions. But I mean, I just, if that was a bright red, if that was something that was, showing up like, give me the Marley sign. Like the Marley sign,
That's bright red.
downtown, or the sweet tomato sign. But this is actually, the red's a very small part of this sign. I mean, it's just the lettering. So, I mean, I'm just having difficulty understanding how this is an outlier and not really in keeping with the signs that already exist there.
And if I may add to that, the Cayman blue is a lot more subdued and lighter than the entirety of the very large Michael's Jewelry aqua Tiffany blue sign.
So, so that's, so those are we'd really like to have you reconsider your position, Tim. I know we think your suggestions earlier on were very good, and that's why we adopted them. And I think if you look at the color there, that's the blue, that's the silver we'll use for the outline. I mean, all we're doing is adding, what I think is relatively muted red and light blue on top of it. I mean, I'm just having difficulty seeing it as something that's so out of bounds that you can't allow yourself to vote for it.
I think the problem that we're having is that what was presented to us with these signs, they're not as bright as these. If you go down Main Street, you will see that they're not exactly like these are.
They're photographs.
As I explained, this was a quick print at CVS, so I really don't want to get into the photography. I'm not a photographer. It's a representative sample because I was asked at the closure of the first meeting to submit the signs that I used as inspiration for the rainbow color palette up and down Main Street with all the beautiful shop signs on display. So that was the sole intent, to show the range.
Okay. Doug, you have a comment?
Yeah, Jill, thank you. So are you now presenting, Jill, that you would do a silver border around the sign versus the gold? Is that correct? Or is it either or at this point? Just so I...
The suggestion was to make the sign less contemporary, and it sounded like it was a strong suggestion to add a border to make it a little bit more quaint or something. So we did as directed to try and work within what the committee would like to see.
Yeah, so I think the suggestion is that, as we've shown you with that, the gray border would be very helpful.
Yeah.
And I do have, if you'd like to see, Kyle at the sign shop gave me 9 silver swatches, if you'd like
That's
to.
okay. So my thoughts are, I like the border. I think it's important, and I like the scalloped edges. I think it softens it, it's a nice touch. I would be in favor of the silver border versus the gold. The font, I don't play Mahjong, so forgive me. Is that just the font you chose, or you talked to us before about the Mahjong, and part of this sign was part of the game?
Yes, so the comment at the first meeting was about the bullseye.
Yes.
So the number one company nationwide is Oh My Mahjong. This is one of the suits, much like you would see hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades.
Okay.
This is the dot that is 1/3 of all the suited tiles in the game.
Okay.
So it's recognizable, it's a subtle play on, elements, a crucial element of the
Okay.
game, so that's why that is there.
So I don't have a problem with that dot or bullseye, or whatever you might, that's fine. The font, is that just a font that you chose, or is that a Mahjong-type font?
So it's also aligning with Oh My Mahjong.
Okay.
And I'm one of their fortunate wholesale partners.
Okay.
And it's my branded logo that's everywhere, including my website.
All right, okay. I don't have any more questions.
Okay, looks like there's a few people in the audience. Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor of this sign? Okay, would you take the podium, please? Please take the podium and state your name.
Hi, my name's Bonnie Woodland. I live at 29 Cedar Farm Road in Chatham. And as I was driving here tonight, I drove around Chatham just to look at the color of the signs. And I just wanted to make you aware that the banners that you put up for first night are pretty bright red. I know they're not going to be there year-round,
They're
but
actually temporary signs.
they're still a lot redder than
I know
that red.
they did not go through our commission for approval because they're temporary.
And also, I heard through the grapevine that one of the committee members called Jill a crybaby. And I don't think that's appropriate for any member of any board.
Okay,
That was a reference to the color. being
Correct.
Right.
That's
His
right.
opinion. It had nothing to do with Jill,
right.
Okay,
all right?
my
Just to
apologies. then.
clarify that.
Okay,
Thank you, Bill.
all right. But there are also signs in Chatham like Lily Pulitzer. It's pink. What's the difference between pink and red? Her building sits so far back off the road that she really needs something a little more vibrant to be able to see the sign.
Okay, thank you for your comment.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else?
My name is Don Boudreau, and I'm here to support my daughter, who's trying to open a business in Chatham, a small business that presumably, I hope, will be successful. And it would seem to me that Chatham ought to be supporting small businesses being opened and not get caught up in the colors of the signs and so forth, within a framework of standard. I listened to the last meeting. I watched it, as a matter of fact. And one of the comments was that the photographs that were passed out were not representative of the signs. So I did a couple of tours, different times of day, looking at the signs on Main Street and so forth. And I can report that the representations that you saw reasonably resemble what I have seen. And I've had a home here in Chatham for about 28 years. I'm a seasonal resident, but I've lived here for a long period of time. And I'm familiar with Main Street, and I'm familiar with the signs and so forth. I don't believe that this is an outlier. As you know, this building is back off the street, And Jill wants people to be able to see the sign, to know that that's where Main Street Mahjong is. And I don't think that this upsets the territory at all. I don't think it's an outlier. And in my experience and viewing, there are many more vivid signs than this one. Now, not surprisingly, as Jill's father, when you ask for comments in support, I would raise my hand. But I'm full of admiration. I don't know if any of you have seen the inside of this shop. It's an attractive newcomer shop for the town of Chatham, without any question. I don't know anything about Mahjong. I don't play it, but my wife plays it, Jill plays it, and so forth and so on. But I think that this is a positive addition to the town of Chatham, and I would like her to get the sign up so people know where it is, okay? Thank you for your
Thank you,
attention.
Mr. Boudreau. You're a good dad, Mr. Boudreau. Okay, is there anyone else? Okay, hearing none. Would you be objective to changing anything on your sign at all? I think what I'm hearing from the commissioners, that the blue is acceptable. I'd have to ask them again, but the blue as a background, and possibly make the colors silver. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but, I mean, your font's silver. Where did that?
I thought we were talking about the border.
No, I know you said you would do the silver, but I'm talking about if you did the font, your Main Street Mahjong.
Could we have a couple of minutes to talk about things? We'll be
Yeah,
right back.
I'm just throwing out some suggestions.
Yeah, okay.
We'll just go on hold, I guess, for a couple minutes.
Here's a color that's not, this is, you know, the border, sort of just,
I don't think we can say anything, you know, at this point.
not up there. I took it today.
I think that would be good. I can't discuss this, but if anybody else has a suggestion, to give it to her when they come back.
It's next to Doug's building. It's next to Doug's building. You know.
So Jill has a conundrum that makes it very difficult for her to make significant changes to the font or the color scheme. She's made, spent thousands of dollars on marketing and branding, and and this is the font that, and the colors that are included there. Variations on those colors, which we've tried to do to accommodate, your concerns, but, we really can't change the font. We think you've got the blue, we'll do the silver border, we've got the notches, and the,
More muted color palette for,
yeah, we think it's a muted color palette. So we're sort of at the end of our rope because of the economics that Jill has invested in this sign, her marketing materials. I mean, thousands of dollars. And so, I know that typically, what we've done outside of here is not your concern, but would ask in this instance where the building is set back from the street, the sign is not a big sign, as our regulations preclude big signs. But again, having in mind the colors of the other signs in this part of Main Street, bright blue, bright red, and to me, these colors are more muted than those colors. So I just ask you to reconsider, because we're kind of out of options at this point. And that's our position at this point. Ask you to reconsider.
Okay, before I ask for a motion, I would just like you to be aware that you have some choices at this point. You could withdraw your application, continue your application, but you also need 3 positive approvals to move forward with the sign, just so that you're aware of that.
Understood, thank you.
So do you have any last-minute changes or anything that you'd like to do?
Well, no, as we've indicated, you've got the blue that's going to be the background, the silver that's going to be the border.
A lighter blue.
You have the lighter blue that she's proposing for the mahjong, and the different red. I mean, from Jill's point of view, she's really kind of out of options at this point.
Can I make another suggestion?
Sure, always,
And this
always
is
happy to
just
hear
my
yours.
suggestion. I'm not sure how the other commissioners would feel about this. But there is a sign on Main Street, Michael's Jewelers. The
Sorry,
background,
you have to speak up.
Michael's Jewelers.
Michael's Jewelers, yeah.
The background is the blue, very similar to what you have. And possibly, I don't know if the pink is going to fly, but we could try. As far as the emblem goes for mahjong, I think that would be fine. But I think if you could change your colors just a little bit, consider what Michael's is, because we did approve that.
So I'm sorry.
There's
I'm
no
not
pink in
following
it,
what the
but-
suggestion
No, she's
is.
suggesting that instead of this blue,
We go brighter?
we'd use the blue that's
The
in
lighter
Michael's
blue.
sign.
This is.
Is that your
With
suggestion?
With some pink in it, I'd have to, we'd have to see what that would look like, but just mimic Michael's. You're all aware what Michael's looks like, right? Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to ask the other commissioners if they would even
Well, I guess that's,
consider it.
I guess that's so the decision for Jill would be to change this blue for the Michael's blue. So if that's something that would be acceptable to the commissioners, the other commissioners, then Jill will have to think about that. So
Make a-
Okay,
why don't you take a straw vote and let us know?
Okay, hold on one second.
Madam Chair, if she was to make any changes, she would still need to come back to our next meeting
yeah.
for
Oh,
the
yeah.
new rendering.
Definitely.
Allowed to make any changes with the colors, pushes out 2
I know, I understand.
Jill, can you pull up the Fisherman's Daughter? That was on the,
Well,
it's not with you, but it's on. That blue I think it's a nice blue. Just to give you an example of, and her red hair is more muted. But again, these pictures are hard. If you're taking photographs and trying to compare, the photographs look a lot darker. So that was just an example that when I walked through town today, I looked up and I said, hey, that's a pretty nice sign. But I understand what you're doing, and I think it's just unfortunate that you didn't come for a meeting a few months ago to talk about this. I think we could have been of more help.
Well, we'd really like to find out what the consensus of the commission is.
Right.
Okay.
Tim, do you have an opinion?
I would agree with Darcy's opinion as far as the blue, you know, and, you know, calling to mind the fisherman's daughter, in addition to, Bill, you referenced earlier, the Michael's Jewelers sign. Again, I think, you know, obviously I'm willing to work with a new business owner, and we're trying to, you know, further businesses in town, new businesses. Again, I'm stuck on the font and the size of the sign being small and the blocky font. I know you've toned it down, or you've lessened the font, but as you can see in the Michael's Jewelry, while the font is big, the sign is much, much larger, and there's more surface area for other issues. The Michael's Jewelry is not condensed, which I think yours is. And again, I don't think there's anything, referenced, Bill, I don't think there's anything you can do with the font to make it any smaller.
Well, I think if I can say, I have 24 inches by 34 inches. And for better or for worse, Main Street Mahjong, I would love to have a billboard like Michael's Jewelers. I would love to have that square footage, but as a percentage of the facade, we're maxed out at 24 by 34. And being set back, you know, the whole goal, as we know, of marketing is to favorably draw attention to the little shop and to draw people in. And with that said, Bill's not exaggerating when I've spent thousands of dollars on the interior sign, all the shopping bags, all the tote bags. I have embroidered bags for the pop-up for the Chatham Christmas Stroll weekend that will have live events with artisans in the shop. So it wasn't, marketing is my specialty. I mean, I got my MBA in marketing. Like, this is what I love to do, from the tissue paper to the ribbon to the stickers. It is the experience, much like, I hope, when you go to Tiffany and you buy a little trinket, it's all encompassing, branded, and it's the experience as much as it is the merchandise. So that wasn't a comment that Bill made lightly. It was with a lot of forethought and planning that I invested in the launch a week ago, or 10 days ago now.
Doug, do you have any more?
Yeah, so I am a small business owner as well, and I'm also in a butter. And I like the changes that Jill has made to the sign. And if the border was changed to the silver as discussed, I would be in favor of this sign,
Thank you.
As it stands,
as it stands with a silver border.
okay,
Madam Chair,
yes.
could I also remind the applicant that staff is available to offer help to you if you need? We could provide, you know, like the Michael's blue if she needs the exact color of it, and other colors that might be an option for her.
So what would you like to do? Do you
So
want,
is the suggestion to replace this blue in the logo with the Michael's blue?
the blue as the background,
To go to a light blue background?
like Michael's Jewelers?
Really?
It's just a suggestion.
That,
This is
That's
a
all
no
it is.
idea is a bad idea forum. I appreciate that suggestion, thank you. The silver, I can agree to. I think that would look lovely.
oh, wait a minute. I'm an idiot. Help me understand this. So instead of a dark blue background, you'd have a light blue background. Isn't that what Darcy's suggesting?
That's what I just clarified, but I'm not interested in that, with all due respect.
The font could be the dark blue. That would really stand out. But that's my own opinion. We have to, and then you could have your emblem in the pink. It's just an accent color. Would that work for you?
It changes my logo and my recognition for all my branded merchandise. I appreciate the suggestion.
do both signs have to be the same?
I would like them to be the same.
Okay, so do you want to move forward with a motion? Or what would you like to do?
I feel really strongly that I've listened to the committee, that I've made substantial changes, and I appreciate the insight and guidance. And I feel that these are two beautiful signs that will give recognition to the board's feedback, the committee's feedback, and still allow me to align with my brand.
And that would be with the silver border.
Shall we pull the board?
Yeah. So what, based on the silver change and the fact that I think you've launched, is that correct or
I
not?
opened a week ago Saturday.
You did?
Correct.
Okay, because it was on Instagram, my wife saw it, so, yeah. But she doesn't play the game, but she wants to learn,
might.
so she may. So with the changes, I would say, okay, let's go with it. Let's go with it. Not my favorite, but based on what we're hearing, we should go with it. That would be my opinion.
Tim?
I have reservations based on the interactions you've had with the board and some of our commentary. I know you've gone a long way in trying to amend your submission. My one reservation, as I think Bill can appreciate, is to set the precedent where someone launches a marketing campaign and then comes in for a sign afterwards, and we have to go back in time and then take into other considerations into effect, such as what you've put out for funds and that type of thing. That's something I don't feel comfortable with. But 'tis the Christmas season, I would agree with the changes as you've made in this instance.
Okay,
And I would be in support if we had the silver border.
okay. All right, do you want to make a motion?
Madam Chair, was that just a straw poll and we're moving to
It was a
continue?
straw
for
poll.
the? Okay.
Yes. Make a motion with the condition,
Did
please?
the applicant have a question, or are you all set for me?
Are you good?
So with an agreement, if you so vote in favor, with the silver, do I have to come back again in 2 weeks, or can I
No.
go into
No.
production?
No.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Do you want to proceed then with a motion?
please.
Okay.
So Doug Grattan will make a motion under continued hearing signs, 25-085, Mahjong, care of Jill Boudreau. Application to install a wall sign on the structure at 726 Main Street, continued from November 5th, 2025, and November 19th, 2025, with the adjustment of a silver border.
Bob Burns, second, and Bob Burns is in favor.
Tim Gilmore in favor.
Doug Grattan's in favor?
Darcy Sequin is in favor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
One more, should I read that, or
There's another one, there's the street sign.
Yeah, so who's going to make that?
Yeah, we got the street sign,
Do I
yeah.
do that, or does someone else do that?
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
All right, also, continued hearing signs, application 25-086, Mahjong, care of Jill Boudreau. Application to install a ground sign located at 726 Main Street, continued from November 5th, 2025, and November 19th, 2025.
Okay, would you state your name again and tell us what you'd like to do,
Jill
please?
Boudreau.
Yeah, Bill Riley on behalf of Jill Boudreau. So this is the same sign. The one change would be implementing the silver border.
Okay. Anybody have any remarks?
Just one question, is there going to be lighting on the sign?
There is not,
No lighting
correct.
on either sign? Okay.
Correct.
That's it? Tim, do you have anything?
Just for the record, again, I'm not a big fan of the font, but it will mimic the building sign, so I have no further questions, other than the silver border.
Correct.
Jill, one quick question. Is this flat, or is the font carved?
Let me just look at how they specified it. It says 42-inch by
Says
42-inch,
carved.
1-inch thick PVC painted with engraved lettering.
Okay, all right, that's great. I don't have any more questions.
Okay, and I don't have any questions.
Okay, so Doug Grant will make a motion under continued hearing signs, application 25-086, Mahjong, care of Jill Boudreau, and I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. Application to install the ground sign located at 726 Main Street, continued from November 5th, 2025 and November 19th, 2025, with the addition of a silver border around the sign.
Bob Burns, second, and Bob Burns approves.
Tim Gilmore approves.
Doug Grattan approves?
Darcy Sequin approves.
Thank you very much.
very much.
Appreciate your help.
Thank you. Good luck
and all
with
your
everything.
comments.
Thank you. Okay, before I ask for another motion, Dan has asked to be, no, don't say it, okay. We are going to reorganize the board after the first of the year.
So
Now
Doug
you-
Grant will make a motion to adjourn.
Bob Burns, second, and Bob Burns approves.
Tim Gilmore approves.
Doug Grattan approves?
Darcy Sequin approves.
And the time is
Yeah.
5:10.